Welcome to The Interview. I'm Andrew Damelin as we continue our Canada basketball series. And when we booked our next guest, I texted my buddies. I said, you guys aren't ready for the next guest we have. She is the head coach of USA Basketball. She also coaches Letitia Amy here at the University of South Carolina. She led Virginia to 3 Final Fours. Went to 5 All-Star games with the Charlotte Sting, won 3 Olympic gold medals, and she was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2013. Her name is Coach Dawn Staley. Coach, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for doing this. And, Letitia Amy here, she sort of burst onto the scene in a viral moment when she was 15 years old, when she threw down a breakaway dunk. And I was wondering, when was the first time you met her and saw her game, and what sort of drew you to her game?
Well, I saw Letitia. I actually was on the sideline when she dunked that ball, and I really could not believe it. I don't think that was my first time seeing her play. I just was really surprised at her ability to dribble the ball, to rebound and push the ball down the floor, her explosiveness, her ability to make mid-range shots. What came off the page to me was her fearlessness. She plays with a fearlessness. Even, I know she's had 2 major surgeries, but then you see her on her comeback. And we here in South Carolina, we cringe every time we see her fall on the floor. But we've gotten used to it because that's the way she plays. She goes hard every single time that she's on the floor. She plays like she really loves basketball, and she plays like she missed it during the times that she had to rehab.
You mentioned that fearlessness she has. And it's funny, when she was interviewed about that dunk, she said that she was so shy that she didn't want to try it initially. But eventually her teammates said, come on, you got to do this. And that sort of personality came out. And I was wondering, when she got to South Carolina, was there any of that shyness in her personality that you had to bring out in terms of her play on the court?
Well, you have to understand, we actually brought, we call it LA. We brought her in when she was a senior in high school. Like, she didn't finish her senior year in high school. We used the football rule that a lot of college teams use to bring their players in January. So we thought it was a great opportunity for her to come and rehab here at South Carolina, because her rehab regimen in Canada was, an hour and a half to get the rehab. She had to do the rehab, hour and a half back home. And we felt like if she was here, she could expedite her health, her regained health. And she was very quiet, obviously, because she belonged in high school. Everybody else, we were in the thick of our season, and it was really hard. She seemed like she was alone, but she wasn't alone. But when you're the lone high school player on the college team, you tend to kind of take a step back. But I thought when she was able to be that freshman again with her class that she came with, she had a wealth of knowledge and ability of having spent a semester with us, that all that shyness was gone once her peers came in that summer.
Yeah, and in order to get to SC, she had to take several online courses and complete them in a series of a month or two. So you knew that her motivation was in the right place. But she gets to SC, she rehabs over several months. And I imagine you can relate to it, because in your Hall of Fame speech, you mentioned having at least 8 knee surgeries that you had throughout your career. So she gets on the scene and she seems limited in her first year. Got the big knee brace going on. But you mentioned after the season that you didn't want her sophomore season to effectively be her freshman season. So what did she learn through those struggles in that first season that helped her eventually explode really at the tourney next season? But what did she show you in that freshman season through all those troubles and that limited athleticism?
Well, here's the thing. She showed me that she doesn't like playing the reserve role. That's one. And she also basically told herself, she didn't like not playing and not being a valued member of our basketball team in her eyes. I think she brings value to us, no matter if she plays a minute or whether she plays a full game. I just thought it took a year, and most of the medical people that worked with her said, this is a year. You tear your ACL. A lot of people can make it look good and come back 6-7 months. For us, we wanted to make sure that we took the time that was needed. And her freshman year, I thought I probably played her a little bit too much, considering the production she wasn't giving us. But I just didn't want it to be a waste. I wanted to give her playing time, so come sophomore season, she can hit the ground running. And then sophomore season, she couldn't find her footing for some reason. And then when we had an injury, she, it catapulted her into a role for us of having to be needed. And I learned that about her, that she's a much better performer when she's needed. And I just think from her NCAA tournament until now, and I saw her play in Puerto Rico 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I mean, the confidence. And you see all of what she brings to the table. She can do it all. She's a great passer. She can shoot the basketball. Obviously, she does some great things, ripping and going and driving to the basket. Great rebounder. So you're seeing they call it in their bag. So she's in her bag showing all the many skill sets that she has that she played with back in high school.
It's funny you mentioned the dissatisfaction she had coming off the bench. And I imagine most players that want to aspire to something don't want to come off the bench. But in an interview right before the NCAA tournament, she kept on reiterating that I want to be that spark plug off the bench. I'm good to be the spark plug off the bench. And then the tournament comes along, you get to the Sweet 16, you're about to play Georgia Tech, and she steps up. Aaliyah Boston, a bit quiet that night. And you pumped her up before that tournament to the media. You really tried to mention how important she was. Do you think that, first of all, actually, I was wondering, how stingy are you with that praise of your players? Is that something you're very selective about, or do you tend to hand it out freely to sort of give your players confidence?
No, I hand it out when it's deserving. I mean, I'm not one that likes to play head games with our players. They know when they're not playing up to their potential, and they know when they are playing to their potential. And I just thought we did some things when we lost that player. We just inserted LA into we allowed her to play on a perimeter. And a lot of times in a tournament, she played the 4 versus what we designed her to play once our player went down. But it just freed her up to be on the wing, to do some of the things that she's very good at. Now, I mean, I was hoping we got that prior to that player going down, but thankfully she's headstrong. She waited for her opportunity to thrive, and tournament was something that she looked like a totally different player, and that's what confidence does for you. Once you get to a place where you're just saying, I'm good at this, I'm going to do this, it seems to fall into place. No matter if I'm giving her that confidence, if she doesn't have it, it is not going to happen, but she got to a place where she felt really good about being needed. And then she performed up to that need.
And I was wondering how much of a role Aaliyah Boston played in that, because, I watched her during tournament time. She's got it seems like a more refined version of LA's game, just this steady, beautiful footwork, softer touch around the basket. And she praised Amy here for her dog mentality in practice. Can you describe those practice battles between Aaliyah and Letitia?
Well, here it is. These 2 players who are very, very talented, unafraid of competition, they thrive on it. So, Letitia would give, she's good at throwing elbows and being very, very physical. So Aaliyah has been a recipient of a couple of those elbows, but also Leticia have she's been a recipient of just Aaliyah's brute, her girth, and they just go back and forth, and it's a very healthy, competitive environment that a lot of people would think I'm not going to go there because Letitia's there, or I'm not going to go there because Aaliyah's there. But you can see the type of uh, talent they are, the self assurance they have, and the ability to want to play with other great players. So South Carolina isn't a place where you can just come to practice and just put in your time. You actually have to play and get your mentality in a place where you're going to have to compete every single day. And those two young ladies you just spoke of exhibit that every single day.
And, so she closes out her season in style. Obviously, a really difficult loss in the Final Four that perhaps you remember well. But, as we go on, she goes to Puerto Rico, has an amazing FIBA America Cup. She loves talking about all the Canadian players in NCAA basketball. You're the head coach of USA Basketball. Is there any good-natured trash talk that goes on between you and LA about the international game?
No, not too much. I think my concentration was to make sure that we give her an opportunity to learn and grow and put herself in a position where Team Canada couldn't say no to her. And I just thought that over the past few months, she was able to get her, we know she has the skill set, but when the skill set and the confidence and the doesn't match up, it can impact the other. I just thought she just found a way to get her skill set and her confidence to coexist, and it was all downhill from there.
And maybe as part of that confidence growth is she's become really outspoken. She's her Twitter handle is the Black Queen, and you mused one time that she should be the Prime Minister of Canada. And I was wondering, why do you think she could, maybe you're being serious, maybe you're saying it in jest, but why could Letitia be the Prime Minister of Canada?
I just feel like she has a great feel for what is right. And she's unapologetic in letting people know how she feels about not just any issues that are near and dear to her heart, but all issues that she's studied. She's very much in her faith. She's very much into, she's highly intelligent, and she's unafraid to go out there and research things in which she wants to learn more about, or she has to speak on. She is a part of our SAC, which is a leadership group here on campus that she thrives in. We send her to the SEC. She represents us in the SEC when other student athletes are getting together around our conference, and she lends a voice of knowing and wanting to make this world a better place.
And you mentioned, you guys are both people of faith. In your Hall of Fame speech, you said for your journey, you had this beautiful speech about your walk around the Olympic circle. You were the flag bearer, and at every point, you saw a different point in your life. And you said, I want to get the quote right. You said, "My steps were divinely ordered. I just followed the path." And it seems like that's something you've imparted on LA. She was asked about the knee surgeries, and she says this is part of her testimony. Is that something that you share, that you really value with Letitia?
I don't know if I just directly share it with her, because I want our players to be able to find their voice and find their niche in life. And I don't want to be that person that just pushes religion on any of our players. She's always been, even through the recruiting process, I've known she's been a strong woman of faith. She's got a mother, Miss Georgette, who's a strong figure in her life, and she knows the Lord. They know the Lord. They trust in Him, and you can see it because her testimony is quite remarkable. If you think about what she has gone through over the past 2 or 3 years, there's nothing but God that's working in her life to show her a different way. And as much as we want to as much as we want to say things happen for a reason, but they do. It happens because God wants them to happen. And obviously, if you don't handle those trials and tribulations the right way, you won't be able to. LA wouldn't have been able to just stand. They announced it a few days ago that she was part of the Team Canada that's going to represent Canada in the Tokyo Olympic Games. That's just not possible. I think he gives you what you can handle. He puts on your plate what he thinks you can eat. You can push the plate away or you can eat, so you can get to the next dish. And that's what she's been doing with her entire life. And I'm super happy for her. I'm super happy for our mom. When I found out, I text her mom and just let her know, I know you're happy. I know you're proud, but this is God's work, and his work is amazing.
Yeah, and LA is obviously ready to eat as she heads off towards the Olympics, and maybe that divine path will lead Canada against US at some point in the tournament. So she's obviously on an incredible path. I just wanted to ask you one more question. I know it's not about Letitia, but we are Raptors Republic. You grew up at 23rd and Diamond, and there's someone in North Philadelphia who grew up at 20th and Lehigh. His name is Kyle Lowry. Is there any kinship or relationship that you guys share from your humble beginnings to where you've ascended to now?
Well, I do know Kyle, and world champion Kyle, North Philly Kyle. He actually used to, when I worked at Temple, he used to come up to Temple and work out. I've known him since he was a much younger man. But he's always, and I know his mother. I played softball with his mother, so I know his family extremely well. Our paths have crossed just through being in North Philly and through basketball, but certainly him being from North Philly, I'm always proud of him. I'm always wanting him to do well, and I know I'm speaking to some Canadians. There was some talk about him coming back to the Sixers. Just a little talk, but I don't think it went through. But, I'm going to cheer for him if he's a Raptor, or I'm going to cheer for him if he's, wherever he is, because he's a Philadelphian and he represents extremely well. I know the people in Toronto love him because of all the community service that he does, and I've heard about. So, Kyle, keep doing what you're doing and keep representing.
Yeah, I see the parallels outside of where you both are from. I mean, at least Leslie said you're 5'6", but you play like you're 6'5". And Kyle Lowry is 6'2", and he doesn't care where he goes into the paint. He's ready to bang, just like you. That mentality seems really similar.
He is not 6'2". Come on now. He is not 6'2".
He might be listed at 6'2".
Right.
You might be right. Anyway, listen, both of you guys represent your city really, really well, and you've paid it forward to everyone in that city, and now Kyle Lowry's done it in Toronto, and everyone in this country of Canada is appreciative for what he's done. And we at Raptors Republic are so appreciative of the time you've taken out of your busy schedule to talk to us. So listen, Coach Staley, we wish you the best of luck as the summer goes on and you get ready for the Tokyo Olympics. And if it's not Canada winning the gold medal, I hope it's America and Coach Staley winning the gold medal.
Thank you so much. And Team Canada is my favorite second team.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.